What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to the podcast and whatever. I actually don't know what podcast number this is that we're doing. Normally, I'm on the ball with these things, but it's going to be 129. I want to guess, but I might be wrong. But in any case, I'm your host, Jules Ledger. Oh, he's double checking it. I'm your host, Jules Ledger. Joined all the time by Louis Halfin and Lewis Howard, and we're here to break down in our series of NBA rebuilds / what trades would we do / all of this, as you can tell by the screen, the Chicago Bulls. Now, if you're looking at that and you're thinking our graphic designer Nathan has modified Zach LaVine's lips to have lipstick on, they haven't. They are just that red. I don't know if anyone else notices it, but me and Louis did before, and we do find it absolutely bonkers that his lips are that red. Maybe it was just a particularly red lip day. I don't know. But if you've ever noticed if Zach LaVine has red lips, put it in the comments down below. So we'll start this one off. What a random way to start off a video. How are you two doing?
Yeah, not bad. You said 129, didn't you?
I guessed 129. Was I wrong?
It's 128. So you're pretty close. You can give me props for that.
I hold down my bonds, but yeah, that's unfortunate. But 128. But I assume you're both well, and you're not sort of upset that we're talking about the Bulls today, or are you upset that we're talking about the Bulls today?
Not too bad. It's
pure coincidence. Didn't even realise I have a Chicago Bulls shirt on. Pure coincidence.
Not bad.
Actually is.
Yeah, I realise the further we go along with this, the more difficult these videos are, because obviously the majority of the free agents have gone, a lot of the trades have gone through, so there's less of a pool to choose from. But I think the Bulls is an interesting one. There's some good points to talk about.
The thing with this as well, though, is I didn't do the trades like it, but it's getting to the point now where like there's the how can I get it? Wait, can I find it here? Sort of this meme where it's like that. I feel like that's with Dame. It's a terrible crop out. But every time I do one of these videos at the minute, I'm like, let me try and do it so I can not find who wants to take Damian Lillard at the moment. So I've banned Damian Lillard from my trades. I don't know what you've got. Well, I've got two mediocre-ish trades because it's quite hard, I'd say, for the Bulls. But
yeah, I mean, looking at what they've done so far. I mean, they've re-signed Vucevic, they re-signed Drummond, so. You can include them in some trades. I'm sure we've got a couple of them in, but it's highly likely they're going to keep them. I think the Bulls fans were going to melt down if Zach LaVine got traded, but regardless, we're going to have a couple of him in there.
Would they really be? I mean, this is like a genuine question. I'm not sure if they're like, are they actually sort of, would they be up in arms with Zach LaVine trade? Because they're kind of just in like the place where you don't want to be in the NBA, really, which they're in no man's land, if I'm quite honest.
I just think if anyone in that team, I think if it's him that was the domino to fall, I think it would get quite the hostile reaction. But anyway.
Have you got a Zach LaVine trade then, Louis?
Yeah, no, I've got Zach LaVine trades. I just think I don't know. I guess it depends on like going into the context of what you think they should do. I guess. Do you think they could add a couple of pieces and this is a competitive team? I don't really know how good Zach LaVine is. It's also another issue that I sort of ran into.
To the point I'm really trying to make when I'm talking about this is kind of what you said there, is even though whether you agree or disagree, you think they should blow it up or not, because we're quite far along now in the off season, it seems as though after looking at the moves they've done that they are going to run it back. So with that in mind, there's some things you have to think about what they could do to improve their current roster rather than blowing up and starting again. But we'll have them as well, of course, because that is the most fun part of it.
That's also what they should do, in fairness.
Yeah. Louis, run us through your trades then. So take us through your thinking, and then also, have I caught you off guard there?
No, it's fine. I mean,
so run us through your thinking, and then run us through some of your trades.
I guess in my head, like I said, I do think the Bulls are kind of in that sort of no man's land where they're not good enough to compete, but they're not bad enough to really be in the lottery. Whilst the draft isn't great next year, coming up, do you want to get? I mean, I think it's like the 25 or 26 draft where people are like scouting high school kids. Kind of, I can't remember what their names are now. I think there was one. It's like Boozer. I know he had a father that
Boozer.
Yeah, do you remember Carlos Boozer used to play in the NBA? I think it might be his son. I might be wrong, but there is he's like a sort of high school prospect, already 6'10". He's 15 years old. You know. So I know in the future drafts, I think there'll be a draft every now and then where you just want to be one of the high picks. I just do think they should be in that zone. I guess it's kind of unfortunate because with Lonzo Ball, a couple seasons ago with Billy Donovan as well, that his first season there anyway. The Bulls were really quite good. I know they couldn't beat anyone like half decently, but they were comfortable sort of
pub stompers
team. That they were decent, and I think that's kind of all they needed at that stage because the Bulls have not been a really irrelevant franchise since Michael Jordan left, and that was late 90s.
Well,
so
you got the Derrick Rose.
You do
bit there where they were competing. Yeah, it was fleeting, right.
And that is really unfortunate. And then it feels unfortunate again that Lonzo Ball's he's not on that level, obviously, but it feels like they're a franchise that's come upon some bad luck, shall we say, in their time. So I'm of the opinion that they should blow it up, and I think we'll get into the season. Inevitably, they won't be that good, but they'll be like, oh, maybe we should make a move at the deadline, like they kind of were this year, and then they probably don't do it, and then they push it to next season. That's what I mean. But that just kind of feels like wasted years to me. But whatever, I think they should blow it up. So I think the easiest way to do this is their highest sort of asset, you would say, is Zach LaVine. I don't know how good Zach LaVine is. I don't know if he's a second best player on a championship team. Maybe in the right scenario he is. I'm not entirely sure. But I think you could talk yourself into that, right? Second or third best player in the team, probably not like your main guy. So for that reason, I kind of ruled out the like Knicks in that scenario. But I've got one here that involves George's beloved Philadelphia 76ers. It's a free man. It's a free man. Sorry, a free team trade. In fact, so we're going to have the Clippers, the Sixers, and the Bulls in here.
Okay.
So the Sixers will get Zach LaVine.
I don't hate that.
I'll
see where it goes though.
James Harden will go to the Clippers along with Korkmaz.
You're gonna get
I'm a big fan of Korkmaz.
Yeah, I like a little bit of Korkmaz.
The Bulls would get Norm Powell, Marcus Morris Sr. and Terrence Mann. And then they would also get 2 round 1 picks, one in 28, one in 29. The 28 one's from the Clippers, the 29 one is from the Sixers. And personally, I like having picks from both of those teams, just saying. Because I think there is the very sort of plausible future where they might be quite high draft picks if, the Clippers go a bit off the rails, if, Joel Embiid demands a trade or whatever. So in this scenario, I guess you're saying the Bulls are taking on some big salary. No one wants Marcus Morris. I like Norm Powell, but you could flip him definitely, and I think you could also flip Terrence Mann, getting some draft capital. I don't know how much Zach LaVine is worth, but I feel like it might not be enough picks, but along the right lines. The Sixers replaced James Harden effectively with a decent running mate for Joel Embiid. I don't think Zach LaVine's a great fit alongside Joel Embiid. I will say that, but it's something. And then Harden gets his trade to the Clippers, which no one really wants, the Clippers included, but apparently he wants to go there. Yeah. So there you go.
I mean, I'd say first impressions right off the bat is that I don't think that's enough. The Bulls would take that for Zach LaVine. I think you probably would have to up the picks. Yeah, I said before about the Bulls.
Well, you think they take 2 first rounds and some decent contracts they could flip?
No, I think, I said before about Bulls fans going into meltdown if Zach LaVine potentially got traded. I think this trade would send Bulls fans into a meltdown.
Well, they can go to a meltdown. That's
fine.
I mean,
they're obviously not the Bulls front office.
This trade would then initiate you're going to have to cut rid of DeRozan and you're going to have to cut rid of Vucevic. Like, you're going to have to move them on. You don't keep those
Caruso as well, I guess.
Caruso as well. But, I mean, the way I'm looking at this here, like, Norm Powell and Terrence Mann both have decent value. So the Bulls could go out and trade them again or keep with them and play them for the time being. I'm looking at it for the Sixers side of things. Like, what are they getting rid of? They're getting rid of Korkmaz and Harden, who's leaving anyway. So they're just getting rid of a first rounder and getting Zach LaVine back.
Pretty good
Not
for
too
them.
bad.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's not too
But,
bad for them.
I think when I'm looking at these like these teams and these trades are sort of blow it up scenario, I think it's kind of rare that you go full blow it up these days and have like a bunch of bums starting for you. Like you usually have like a decent player these days. I mean, the Spurs are kind of the exception last year, but you know, every team has a decent player. You don't go for these sort of things for like a season and subject your fans to some absolute like garbage, really. Like you do have some decent players. You don't go full tilt process Sixers because I don't think that's had a great effect on the culture. I think you got Norm Powell around and Terrence Mann. You probably flip him in a while. I mean, Marcus Morris, yeah, and I don't think anyone's taking that. Maybe because it's an expire and it's a hefty contract, salary filler, maybe. I don't think that's too bad a return for the Bulls, if I'm honest. And you know, the fans may melt down, but they'll know what's good for them in the future.
I'd say as well it's a 28 and 29 pick as well, which I think
it's far. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite far in the future. And
but
when you
those
see
could be good picks.
But it is quite. I mean, that if you're going that far, that is like you're just going to blow up everything. I know you said before you might have a decent roster, but I think that would be committing to a few years in the trenches.
Fair.
Have you got any other trades, Louis?
Yeah, I'll do my next one and then I'll stop talking because I've talked too much already. Okay. So this one has got my beloved Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh, hello.
The Brooklyn Nets, and then obviously the Chicago Bulls will be in there as well. This one is okay. Yeah, this one I guess is dependent on your views of a certain man. Or a certain company.
Oh, okay, all right.
So in this scenario, the Timberwolves...
Where's Ben Simmons going?
The Timberwolves would get DeMar DeRozan, which I like next to a bit of a scorer. They'd also get Dorian Finney-Smith. And also two first round picks in 2029 from the Brooklyn Nets. One is via Dallas and one is via Phoenix, I believe. This is quite nice for the Timberwolves, if I'm quite honest. But you know, they need some draft capital back.
Yeah. Where's this going?
The Nets get Zach LaVine, and the Nets also get Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh wow! Okay. Right.
Also, in this scenario, I don't think this is possible because they have Gary Trent Jr. going. Has he signed somewhere yet? Gary Trent Jr. He's a free agent.
I don't think he's signed. Has he signed his deal? I don't actually know.
I haven't heard anything about Gary Trent. Much like the radio silence on Jaylen Brown.
I thought he signed a deal with the Raptors. I might be wrong, but I mean, I've got him on so rare, so that's why I thought he did.
If he did, that's fine. I mean, maybe that's
he opted into his player option.
Okay, I see. That's fine. I think it works even without. We'll see, I guess. So the Bulls in this scenario get Ben Simmons. The big piece of this deal, of course, the man who doesn't play basketball currently. Spencer Dinwiddie, your man, goes to the Chicago Bulls. Royce O'Neal also goes to the Chicago Bulls, getting a decent call there, and Ben Simmons. And then 2023 round one pick from the Nets. I think it's via Phoenix. That would have been in the KD trade. Yeah. 27 round one from Phoenix as well.
Yeah.
27 round one from Philadelphia as well. And then the 28 from Phoenix as well, round one. Getting a lot of picks there.
See if it works. Is it going to work? It does work.
There you go.
So the Bulls get 3.
There was another round one pick, but you know we can disregard that.
So the Bulls would get 4 first round picks. Ben Simmons, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Royce O'Neal. The Timberwolves are getting DeMar DeRozan and Dorian Finney-Smith, along with 2 first rounds themselves. And then the Nets picking up Zach LaVine and Cat. Yeah. So then they've got what? Mikal Bridges, Zach LaVine, and Cat. Not a bad little 3 down in Brooklyn.
Not a bad little three, not a great little three, I will say. But there's a competitive team. I don't know. The Nets are a difficult one because I do feel like they're active, but I just don't
The
know
issue
how
with
good they.
the issue with this is when I look at it from here, the Nets are getting rid of 6 first round
Yeah.
picks, and they also lose Dorian Finney-Smith. Dorian Finney-Smith's got a great contract for what he's on.
It's a good
Spencer
player as well.
Dinwiddie for it. Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith's a good player for it, especially with the contract. Spencer Dinwiddie, but they're only getting Zach LaVine and Cat back for 5 first rounds, which in my head is way too many. But then obviously you're looking at the sort of the tumblings of recent times and really go back
Yeah.
to 7. It's
they
where
do.
do you put them in?
They do have a lot of first round picks. They
Yeah.
traded Harden and they traded KD, and they've got a lot in there. I guess
I
I
feel
mean, it's
like-
good having these picks, but have to shift them
I
around
feel
a
like
bit.
that's even if you don't think it's worth them to a worth 5 first. I think it's in the realm where it's kind of if someone was to save 5, even if you thought it was too much, it's not like absurd.
It'll be 6 technically because it'd be 4 first round.
Yes.
If it was
There-
6,
there's
might be
6.
6 might be pushing it. I will say 6 might be pushing it. but-
6 and 5, it's like
It's very
you spend
smart.
20 quid, we'll spend 25 or something like that. It is at that
I mean-
stage. I feel like it's not too deep. I agree, that's a lot of picks, and I don't think the Nets would do it purely because where does that core go? I like the core. I'd like to see how it operates, and I think it would be decent, and they'd be relevant somewhat. It's just it's a lot to give up, I guess.
I mean, we said earlier, like Howard, I know you said if Zach LaVine got traded, Bulls fans are going to riot, essentially. And all right, if he does get traded, but if they do a trade and the Chicago front office tries to sell them Ben Simmons and Lonzo Ball on their sheet for a year, it's going to be
Yeah.
carnage. For
That
them.
is the big one, I
It'd
guess.
be more the picks over anything else. Though. I feel like if they did get 4 first, that's actually. I mean, obviously that would mean they're in full like we're tanking. I don't think that's actually a terrible thought at all. So
I mean, I think you can sell Ben Simmons to a certain degree. I know his stock is really, really low at the moment, but I guess you can be like, oh, in a different scenario. It was kind of the same with Brooklyn. I get that, but there may be like a team built around him a little bit. It's a bad contract. I think it might be the worst contract in the league because he doesn't play
you would
basketball.
have-
But
I mean,
Yeah.
you got Ben Simmons and Lonzo Ball both on 2-year contracts, so that means not this year, but the year after when they're playing for their money. Boy, you might see some Lonzo Ball, Ben Simmons link up because they're going to be balling out that year to try and get the bag.
they could be a fearsome backcourt.
Oh,
I mean, no one would want to shoot.
No,
It'd just
no
be
shooting,
sort
just
of
vibes. Yeah, no
Well,
shooting.
Lonzo's
just
gonna
I would
shoot.
say,
Yeah.
do you love the fit of DeRozan on the Timberwolves?
No, I don't love
Yeah, I was
it.
gonna
No, don't
say.
love it. But it's okay. It's okay. Like I think DeRozan's a good player. I think I saw trades. I mean, if you've got DeRozan trades, maybe this is a better time to say it. But I like him at the Cavs because they needed that scoring boost. I felt like, or a team which needs like a scoring boost a bit more. Whereas I think the Timberwolves more so need like a defensive edge, and
Yeah.
as someone who's got like some leadership out, a bit more playmaking, a little bit. I don't know. It's not a great fit. I do agree, and I saw DeRozan with Sixers as well. Again, not a great one for me.
The issue with the Timberwolves, and I don't want to go off on a tangent too much of them, but they need to do something. If they run into the season, and I know Cat's like, watch us play as the big three. If they run into the season with Naz Reid, Cat, and Gobert.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel sorry for the kid Anthony Edwards because he's just being absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
What it's going to be.
I personally think Cat should be banned from doing any interviews
Any
ever.
interviews.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in agreement with you there, but I don't actually. On the first time when I saw this trade, I was like, "There's no way." But the more and more I look at it, the more and more I can see it potentially happening.
I mean, yeah, I still think no way, to be fair. But in the sense of would I actually think it'd happen? But in terms of how, like, do I think the trade's okay for all parties? Like, it's not like one person's getting shafted here. It's decent. As these trades go on these trade proposals.
Yeah, the thing with these trades is how often do you see a 3-team trade that's involving like 3 or 4 guys earning 35 mil a year plus? Like, it's very, very rare. But I don't actually hate it. I'll run you through my trades now as they're pretty quick. I have 2 of them to go off of. The first one, is quite simply, it's not as glamorous or as far-fetched as Louis was, where you've got these multiple contracts, picks flying all over the place between teams. Mine's a little bit more realistic, might I say. This is the one that I put together on Caruso leaving, going to the Warriors, and the Bulls getting back a second-round pick, Moses Moody, and Jonathan Kuminga. I just think that for what the Bulls have got, I'd prefer them to have a bit more size on a wing with Kuminga. I really do like Caruso, and maybe I'm selling his value a bit too short here. I know the Warriors were interested in Caruso before. It's all well publicised that Steve Kerr really likes him. Moses Moody's all right as well, but this is mainly Jonathan Kuminga. I really like him. I think he's a really good player. I think from when he had his time on his extended stint when he was playing for the Warriors last year, he did really well. He's got his liabilities at the minute, but also you're getting back someone that's a lot younger than Caruso as well. So this is the idea of that. If you get this trade done and sorted before you then would go into a rebuild, this is a bit easier. I'm not sure. Do you think that I'm underselling Caruso here? Would you have him at a bit more of a value? But I think Kuminga on his contract especially is quite a decent one.
I mean, it's tough because obviously you're prospecting with this one. So it depends what you think, especially Kuminga can be in the future. And with that, obviously, then there you'll know whether you think you're underselling or overselling Caruso. I think the only thing for me when I think about the Bulls is in the positions they need to address. If they're going to stick with the core and add to it, which is obviously what this one would probably be, because Caruso's kind of that asset.
Caruso was playing at the 4 for the large part of the end of last season for them.
So this is what I mean when I'm saying I think the positions that the Bulls need to target if they're going to stick with their core and just add something is either some power forwards because they're all like power forwards / big men because their power forward rotation is just almost non-existent at the moment. Either that or some more playmaking because they just don't really have a natural playmaker on their team. So that'd be the only thing. So I think maybe you'd try and go out and get someone to address those issues, but I don't think this trade's too bad.
This was a little bridge in terms of getting a 4 in for someone that you're already playing at the 4 that also then offers you some future protection because of his age is the way I saw this. Louis, what do you think on this one in terms of it?
I quite like Kuminga as well, and I do like Moody as well, actually. I actually slightly question if the Warriors would give up this much for Caruso. Because, I mean, I do think those players are kind of highly rated, even if Steve Kerr himself is a bit reluctant to use them heavily. I think this is in the realm. I don't get it right. It's not like massively. So I feel like this this definitely could happen. I do think Caruso is a good fit on the Warriors. It would strike me as more of not like rebuilt, not sort of like reinforcing what the Bulls have already. This strikes me as more of a rebuild move if this were to happen, because I think Caruso, in essence, is just a better fit on the Bulls and a better player right now than both of those guys. So I like it in the sense of, in my head, I want to rebuild the Bulls a little bit. But if it's a retooling, I guess you're viewing it a little differently, isn't it? Really,
that's also why that's why I see it a bit more likely as well, because I think at this moment in time, Alex Caruso offers you a bit more on the court than Jonathan Kuminga does. So that's why I think you could see the Warriors maybe accept the little overpay because Caruso would come in and give them 2-3 years of top-notch defending, which is what the Warriors want. I'm glad you mentioned though, Lewis, before about seeking a better power forward, and would you believe it? It's a trade that involves Pascal Siakam. So this one is the classic one. I've seen a few of them go by. I adjusted it slightly. So the Bulls receive Pascal Siakam, and then they've got a very nice starting 5, which is what we've said about the Bulls now for a little while pre-Lonzo Ball injury anyway. But Pascal Siakam in that whole team, it's no threes, just vibes, but we're going to roll with it for the time being. They're going to go and get Lonzo Ball, Derek Jones Jr., Dosunmu, who I think he had a pretty good year, especially for that starting time when he was playing beforehand. And then 2 first-round picks. I didn't want to go to 3. I've seen some with 3, and I don't think 3's worth it for Siakam, especially when you get Lonzo Ball. Now, I know he's not playing for this entire year, but and I can't stress how unlikely I think this is. But if he comes back next year and he can give you like 50, 60 games, he's then going to have a decent set of. He can't negotiate that much for a contract because of what he's had before. but Lonzo Ball could still be a player. There's no reason to write him off just yet. It's not Ben Simmons territory where he's like, I think the majority of people have completely given up hope, but there's still a slither for Lonzo Ball, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's pretty much. We haven't heard a ton, but I think he's pretty much definitely not playing in the 23.
He's not playing all year. Yeah, he's not playing all year.
Yeah, I think he's pretty much done that. And it's funny you talks about no threes, just vibes. I saw a stat either it was today or yesterday, I can't actually remember. And it was of all the teams in the NBA, the Bulls attempted the least threes out of everyone. So I didn't see Siakam's basically just carrying on with the theme. But yeah, this is an interesting one. I will say with is it the Sunmu? Is that how you say it? I can't actually remember.
The Sunmu, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw.
Yeah,
I saw an article. I saw an article saying that it's unlikely that he's going to end up returning to the Bulls, and I was quite surprised with that because I think a lot of people rate him quite highly. So I think that would be a nice pickup. As you say, this gauging what Siakam's worth is a difficult one, because even though if you go on and look at the trade proposals, at least 50% of them have got Siakam in or something. Like half of them are that and half of them are Harden going to the Clippers. But when you actually look at what's been put out there around the league, I feel like you haven't really seen anything about Siakam and his values. So it's hard to tell what teams would actually be willing to pay for him.
Yeah, it is difficult, isn't it? I mean, I think there's been a lot of Hawks talk with Siakam, right? I mean, the Raptors in general have just been like trade central for like 6 months now, and they didn't end up trading OG. I think, to me, this seems like fair value. I think that's a pretty big contract for Pascal. I quite like him, but I don't. I mean, he was the second best player on the championship team, but he was playing with like a historic run. Kawhi.
It's the bridge of the ways here. You either double down on this sort of core that you've got, and you add Pascal Siakam, and you just accept the Lonzo Ball L, and you give up another 2 firsts, and you really, really push for it, or you move elsewhere. I can't see a world in which the Bulls don't really do, even to the extent of just that Caruso or Kuminga or something of that level. They need to either bring in a Siakam or someone of his ilk, or start moving pieces and going the other way. I can't see another year where they just say, "Yep, we're doing nothing and we're going to run it back." That would be nuts to me.
I'm just sort of reading up about this right now, just like because the Hawks have been like quite actively trying to trade for Siakam. And other teams as well, apparently. But the issue is that he's only got 1 year left on the contract, and obviously teams want to be pretty certain that he's going to re-sign if you're going to give up the bag for him. But he's not really like given any indications whether he would do that type of thing. So that's interesting. I wonder what he wants, basically. What type of situation Siakam wants to find himself in? Does he want like a title contending team? Do you think like it, or does he want to be like the main guy? And I think in this scenario, he wouldn't be, would he? Because that I mean, you talked about the City being a bit annoyed if they traded Zach LaVine. I do think that is kind of Zach LaVine's place and kind of Zach LaVine's City. He's been willing to share that limelight, I think, quite well with DeRozan. Would he be willing to then incorporate? This is more like a collective starting 5 type of thing. Yeah, it's difficult to tell, isn't it?
Indeed. Howard, have you got any trades at all?
Yeah, the first one with that, you won't have to create the trade on there because it's more of a discussion, and the trade, it's not, I have to visualize it, see, it's pretty simple, but it's mainly talking about Lonzo Ball, because me and Lou were talking about it earlier, and the fact that he's not playing the entirety of this year. Next year, maybe he'll be back next year, but you're not sure.
It's a player option. I wonder if he's going to take it.
Yeah, but with the chance, it's not the worst contract in the world to take on, especially if you're a team that is probably not going to be competing next year, but could see it flourish or come into some value after. And I think yesterday it came in that the Bulls had applied for a trade exception and it's been granted. But the one I'm going to propose now is if they did a sign and trade, but traded Lonzo Ball and Gator contract up to a team that is struggling at the moment. And obviously, when you think about a team that's struggling and Lonzo Ball, where is there a bit of family connection that might be able to sway the trade? And that's obviously with the Charlotte Hornets.
I thought you was about to say like China and going up with LeAngelo.
No.
Right.
But
That'd be harsh.
if you look at the free agent market now, and you look at who's left, really that actually fits a need for the Bulls, I think PJ Washington is basically the perfect fit. So it would be a sign and trade with PJ going to the Bulls. Then obviously the Hornets take on that Lonzo contract. Ball brothers linking up, they're not really going to be doing much, so they can afford to take that season of Lonzo being injured and then maybe see what happens after that. The question then is, how much do the Bulls have to give up for the Hornets to take on this contract? And I think the first time I saw this, I can't remember where I saw it, but I think they had the first from the Blazers via Portland at the top. Yeah, I think it was a 28-second, which is quite a bit, but I do think this is a trade. We've talked about quite a lot of trades that may or may not happen. I do think this is a trade that the Bulls should do. And it is one that I do think is feasible as well.
I quite like that. I do quite like that. I mean, it is just throwing away a season for Charlotte. Not that PJ Washington is really changing their fortunes. I mean, he's one of the better players on the team, but that team's not very good. But they're not going to do anything this season, really. So I quite like that.
It's an interesting one as well because you're then going to look at what Portland do this year, and then that pick becomes a little bit spicier if so. But I don't hate that as well. I don't hate that because the Hornets could be sitting here just going, we're just going to look at getting in some extended minutes for LaMelo Ball and seeing what Brandon Miller does. But it's going to be. The thing with them is what they do with Gordon Hayward and Kelly Oubre, because I don't think Kelly Oubre is going to come back. But I don't hate that trade at all, actually.
Yeah, I found the website as well, right? Sorry, and it was aptly named for the Bulls. Pippin ain't easy, so shout out to them for that. But the other thing with this is, I was talking about them potentially needing a power forward. If they don't go this route, and obviously they get that trade exception for Lonzo Ball, which they apparently have, then you look in free agency, and I think the best option then is Chris Wood or Christian Wood. Like I've ever heard anyone call him Chris Wood. Actually.
Chris Wood, I was going to say we're talking about Newcastle Burnley dons.
But I think Christian Wood would be probably the best fit for them in the free agency market. Gives them maybe someone who can hit a three, take a couple of threes while giving them some size, can help back up that centre position while also filling out a power forward slot. So with that, they're two things I actually think could happen and should happen one or the other. I have another trade that absolutely will not happen, but in the interest of just having a bit of fun, I will throw it out there.
Run it up,
so this involves the Hawks, the Suns, the Spurs, and the Bulls.
Oh, right. The Hawks. Whoa! I haven't got like a klaxon sound.
Okay.
I need a soundboard for some sound alerts because I needed a klaxon or like a tire screech then. Right, so run it back. So the Bulls, the Hawks, the Suns, and the Spurs. Did you say?
And the Spurs, yeah.
So 4 teams,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Hawks get Zach LaVine.
So the Hawks get Zach LaVine, right?
A 2027 first from the Bulls.
27 first.
Ooh, ascended.
And a 2029 first from the Bulls.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What are they getting? What hole are they getting?
This is getting clips. So you're seeing this on some social media, right? Come on.
Right. The Suns get Vucevic. As I said, this is where it goes into. God!
Right. Yeah.
There's players that have re-signed here that are.
I've seen this one actually.
But Drummond also goes to the Suns.
Getting some real bigs there.
Yeah. Dalen Terry goes to the Suns from the Bulls. Yes.
Dalen Terry, yeah, to the Suns.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's 2026 second from the Bulls. They're like, this is the Bulls ending essentially.
To the Suns, yeah.
Yeah, and then a 2027 second to the Suns as well.
Right. Okay.
Right. The Spurs take on the Lonzo Ball contract.
To the Spurs, yeah.
And they get the 2024 first from the Bulls via Portland.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
How many picks do they have left?
Just let him cook, Louis. Let him cook. All right.
So now we're on the Bulls. So the Bulls get Trae Young.
Oh, okay, right. So the Bulls get Trae Young,
DeAndre Ayton,
DeAndre Ayton, yeah,
and Doug McDermott from the Spurs.
Big Doug. We love a bit of Big
Right,
Doug on this channel.
Thoughts on that?
Trade for the Bulls.
Trae Young and DeAndre Ayton are like my two least favorite players.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a
just wanted to
14
find
trade this big for it. Right, so hang on. I need to combobulate this trade a second. Hold up.
Yeah. I mean, basically, after finding a couple things I actually think they should do, I just wanted to find one where it would just press the nuclear button and see what happens.
So DeRozan is still at the Bulls in this scenario.
Yes,
So we've got right. So we've got Trae Young, DeRozan, Ayton, Core at the Bulls now. We've got Zach LaVine in Atlanta. We've got Vucevic and Drummond playing alongside Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and
Devin Booker.
Devin Booker. And then the Spurs have now got Wembanyama and Lonzo Ball. Right. There you go.
I like that.
Have that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I like that.
So the first thing I did think about when I saw this was I saw that last year. This surprised me. Last year in the regular season, the Bulls had the 5th best defensive rating in the entire NBA, which when you see the roster they've got, you would absolutely not expect. Well, if they did this trade, that would be completely eviscerated.
Yeah, Trae Young and DeAndre Ayton. Trae Young and DeAndre Ayton literally is that meme of that, outside like Tottenham's ground where the security guard is searching the person. That is it.
I do actually think though, them two together fit very nicely. I actually think they play quite well together, Ayton and Trae Young. That trade is 100% getting clipped. It's gonna be either I'm gonna put it out as a little clip on YouTube or it's gonna be on our socials. But that is as trades go, and it's not. I mean, it's such a blockbuster. It's never gonna happen, like you said, trade. But I do love seeing these type of things. I can't lie.
All right, I did say Trae Young and DeAndre and like two of my least favorite players, and they are. But all aside, I think maybe Ayton's value has probably been diminished a bit too much off the back of the playoffs, because I do think he's a reliable, he's like a good center in this league, but he just earns a bit too much money. So I don't mind. Both of those guys together.
To be honest, it's not even that bad when you like. I know Zach LaVine's going. The Vucevic is here or there, and the Ball contract, but they're giving up 3 first rounds. And I get back Trae Young and DeAndre Ayton. It's not that terrible for them. It really ain't.
Trae Young, man. just can't do it. I just can't do it. You're going to have issues with Trae Young wherever he goes, basically, where you have to kind of build around him.
Watch yourself. Nathan is going to be watching this.
He's obviously talented in that regard, but you're always going to have the issues of you got to kind of build around him. He dominates the ball a bit too much. I don't know. I like Lonzo Ball and Victor Wembanyama together. I'd like to see that, especially given.
I mean, you wouldn't see it for a year, but
no, exactly. But then Wembanyama gets some chance to mature. He's taken his lumps, I guess. Then Lonzo comes in, gives him some dimes. I mean, we all know this isn't going to happen, but it's exciting. I would love it if that trade happens. It would make
it would be unreal. You haven't got any other trades, do you know?
No, they were the two. I decided one that I think should happen, and one that absolutely won't. So
one that won't. All right, so that was everything that we've done in terms of trying to fix the Chicago Bulls. That's where we will metaphorically end this video. But obviously now in the off season, like we said before, we did it last week. We're going to do it again. We're going to do another tier list. This time it was Lewis Howard's job to find the tier list. So he sent me through a anonymous encrypted code link that I definitely didn't see the subject line of.
Yeah.
And this time it's a bit more relevant to the NBA. So if you are going to stick around because we'll do it in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Louis, I saw the title, but I haven't seen what it is. And it is NBA. Is this City jerseys? Yeah, we're going to rate some NBA jerseys. Nice.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, well, basically, I thought the drinks one took
far too long.
Time. Yeah. So I think this one should be quicker, unless we've got some strong opinions on some of these, which some people do.
Okay, I'm going to set it up. This is our NBA City tier list edition. Do I mess that up then? Do you think I said that right? NBA City tier list edition?
You're fine.
No, we'll run with that. Right. The Hawks one. I can't say I've ever seen this, I'm not going to lie.
No, I think I've seen John Collins in that for some reason. I associate that one with John Collins. I don't know.
Since you said John Collins, I've just had a glass smash and I've seen it, but I think it's a C. Where would you put it? It's not an S, is it?
I don't think it's C. I think it's all right.
I think it's middle tier.
Yeah, we'll go B. We're not going to deliberate on them too much. Celtics. As much as I'm a bit meh, this is quite a nice one. I'd put this.
The Celtic, that is class. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I'd take A or S. Yeah,
so we'll go on a majority. I'll say A. Lewis.
You know, brightness. We'll start off strong.
Louis, are you S?
Yeah, I'm S. I'm S.
The next one. Can't lie, I'm not a big fan of this one.
I hate the stupid scribbled nets.
I hate the scribbled stuff. I would have this as a D.
I'd put it in C. I don't think it's the bottom of the barrel. I think there's a couple there.
Louis, are you D or are you C?
Just think about. I know they do this all the time, but they've had some good City jerseys, Brooklyn. I think that's poor in comparison. I remember those B Smalls ones they done a couple years ago that were good. Yeah, D in comparison. I'm going to put in D.
Okay, yeah, D. It's ending there. I don't know. This is the Hornets, right? CLT. Charlotte, yeah. It's got to be Charlotte.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind that. I'd put that B.
Yeah, I don't mind that. It's B. Not massive on it.
I'll put it C. I don't really like that jersey, I'll be honest.
Louis, you're the deciding vote.
I'm not too fast. I'll put B.
B.
Okay.
Right. On topic, on brand, we've got Chicago. And I got to say, as City editions go, this seems like the laziest attempt at making a City one. If you told me that was a regular kit, jersey, I would not even batter an eyelid at it.
I agree, but I will say, I feel like nice. There just aren't bad Chicago jerseys regardless. So it's still an A tier. Yeah.
It's good brand.
Is that
Cleveland?
Cleveland. I think it's Cleveland. And for that reason, I'd vote there.
Yeah, I think that's bad.
I'll put it in B.
What is that thing? Is that like a globe?
I can't even see it.
I mean, the picture quality isn't going to matter if I zoom in on it.
No. I'm not a massive fan.
No, I'm going to C. Yeah, we'll run that C.
I'd go B, but yeah, sure.
Dallas. I don't really like that either.
I don't mind those. Dallas ones. You got to C.
I'm saying C.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna put it in C.
I don't like the Stranger Things 1990s mall vibe.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the text. Yeah.
Denver, it's a bit run of the mill. I don't really like the size.
I'd say B. Yeah, I'll say B. It's just solid, isn't it?
I've never seen this Detroit Pistons one in my entire life. I will say that I've never seen this. I've never seen it.
C or D, I think.
I think so as well.
I wouldn't put it D. I don't actually mind the font on it. But,
yeah,
I'm happy for it to live there. But if you two want,
D, I'm fine.
I'm C. They've had some good jerseys.
The most
motor.
Yeah. I think that's
the most polarizing City jersey that was released.
Yeah, I agree.
Where is it going? This is pure Marmite. You either love it or hate it.
You go first, Louis.
I'll be honest. I don't like it personally. I don't like it.
I also don't like it. I think it's really ugly.
Can I say? I think the jersey on its own is horrendous, but the shorts and the black arm thing that Steph wore made it all right. But I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it's. Do you know what?
I'm fine with C.
It's either an. No. It's an S or a D. And if we're going that way, it's a D.
All right. Well, then I'll put it D. Yeah. I don't know.
And Warriors fans, if you're watching this, you're gonna have to hold that, unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't know. The rose faded into the black. I don't know. What
that's the weird thing. Rockets, I'm just
A.
going to go ahead.
A.
And put
I
this
think
in.
that's an
I
S. That is
think
S.
that's an S. I think
That
that's
is
an S.
classic.
Great.
That is classic.
Instant
Yeah.
classic.
go
Heritage
wrong.
is what that is. It is pure heritage.
That's
Never
bad.
seen
Okay,
this.
no.
Never-
That is bad.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
put that
do us
in
all
B
a favour.
immediately.
What on earth were they think? What
Yeah.
were they smoking when they thought, yeah, let me just put a black thing around there? Is it like a gold chain? Is what it looks like. But I don't know. This is the Clippers, and I don't really like this whole Mardi Gras stuff that they sort of do with it. But if it is
I don't
Mardi
mind
Gras,
the Clippers one actually. I'd put
The
it
Clippers
B.
don't have any heritage is the issue. They just don't have that
Yeah.
juice.
I'd say C.
Yeah, I think so.
C.
I'm fine with
Yeah,
B,
fine.
but I'm gonna go C.
I'm also going to do this for. I'm going to put this A. I'm not going to put this S, but I think that one is
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
it's a
think
classic
it's-
one.
It's the same as the Chicago one. I think it's the Lakers ones. They just don't make. While I don't think that's a particularly special Lakers jersey, the floor for Lakers jerseys is so high that
Yeah,
even an average one is A.
Um,
that's a good one. I don't
Memphis
mind.
Grizzlies. I'm gonna
Yeah.
whack that there, and I'm gonna hear what you say. I'm gonna put it in B. And
I like that
one
one.
I'm gonna put-
The problem with the Memphis one for me is because I think it's B as well, but their last one was so good that this
Yeah.
one pales in comparison.
What you mean
Yeah.
the Vancouver?
Yeah,
Grizzlies?
the old retro one that they did.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
The Miami sort of ransom note jersey that they've done. I'm gonna put that there. I really don't.
I think it's C. I don't think it's
Every
that
time I see that
important.
jersey, I think of like a 1990s ransom note where they cut it out of like a fashion
the
magazine.
newspapers.
The
Yeah.
Zodiac.
Every
I think
time.
it's C as well. Actually, I think it's C as well. I
Yeah,
don't
Yeah,
have
know.
to bump it
we'll-
up.
We'll bump it to C. This Bucks one, I'm going to throw A. I think that's really
Whoa!
I also like the Bucks one. I don't know where
Really?
I'll put it A. I do.
Is
I do
they
like
too
it.
high? Am I getting a bit too gassed with that Bucks one there? Is that where I'm going? I like the Motorola sponsor. I can't lie. I don't know why.
I don't know that shit.
I know we've got. I
Just
know,
put it
I know
in
that's
B. I'd say
conflicted
B.
here. All right, we'll
I'll
put
go
that to
B.
B.
I do like it though.
Timberwolves. Yeah, we'll move on.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any other? Realistically, is this going
Yeah.
to?
D.
No, the classic Timberwolves one with the green
Yeah.
and those are great, but this one's bad. Not
I
minimal
think
effort. I hate the minimal ones personally.
I hate minimal effort, but for the Aubameyang jersey here, I can't run on it. I just can't. I'm sorry.
Up and
the
it's
nose
C.
one.
I
Oh,
think that's good.
It's
if
good.
you're Zion in that and you've had a couple gumbos, it's not looking fetching.
It's not looking great. If the gumbos are out, then the Nola jersey's not looking great.
As with all of
Um,
these, in fairness, but the Nolas
yeah.
in particular, I'm thinking
Mm.
not great.
New York. I actually don't. I think this got a lot of hate when it come out, but I don't actually mind it, and I'd put it there.
I'll put it in B. Yeah. I
No,
like
I'd
it.
run it in B.
I love it.
It's an alternate. Again, I think Knicks jerseys there's quite a low floor. Like the ceiling
Yeah,
for them
agreed.
is quite like everyone just sort of goes, it's a Knicks jersey. They're really well known, and the majority of people like them. This Thunder one, I don't know why. It just tells me to put it into C, and I can't explain it.
Yeah, no heritage, not good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, fine.
Magic, I would throw B.
Bog standard, isn't it? You know.
The
Yeah.
Disney logo with the Orlando thing just is hitting a little bit different. It always does. I can't say why.
I mean, there have been some unbelievable Magic jerseys over the
They
years.
have, yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If you're going to rate it on Magic jerseys, then it's not hitting in B. But of just this collection, I feel it can live there. This Portland one,
I really like it as well.
I'd go B, but I'm fine. I'm fine.
Louis, you're the deciding vote.
No, I really like it. I think it looks good on the
Right.
player. I'm envisaging players in these, and I know the better players make them look better. But you know,
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm just going to do that, and we're not going to talk about it. Phoenix Suns.
But you know what? I
you
wouldn't
know
put
the
it
brotherly
bottom.
love.
You're
wouldn't
telling
put
me
it
this
bottom.
jersey looks like it belongs with these other four, does it not? If
I
you was in a
disagree.
shopping, if
I
you was
think
in
it's better
if you
than
was in the
those.
NBA store, if we're in Carnaby Street, or I can't remember where is the NBA store in London? I
Yeah,
can't remember.
that is where it is. Yeah.
Carnaby
Yeah.
Street, it is Carnaby Street.
Yeah.
If we're in Carnaby Street, and I was on a row and I saw that, I would expect to see that next. Is all I can say for it.
All I'll
and
say is
also-
I pick that over all the others.
My
Indeed.
camera has
I think
5%
so as well.
left, so we're gonna
Okay.
we're gonna usher ourselves through these.
Bad.
This Suns one,
Bad.
oh bad! I was
You
gonna
think
go
it's
to-
bad? I'd put it in A. I really like
I'd
it.
put, hey Louis, hold that on your bonds. Where was you gonna put that?
I mean, like C, not bottom, but I don't like these
Right,
shades
okay.
of blue. I think is what we've got a different. I don't really like blue jerseys.
See, I
the
really
King-
like
As we're
blue.
coming up, there. I like that.
I'd put that C. It just looks a bit boring.
It is a
I
bit
like
boring,
that.
but I'd still put it in B. It's
All right,
boring.
Louis, you
Yeah.
decide and vote C or B.
Yeah, I think
That's what
B.
your
I
option
think
is.
B.
All right,
I
we'll
think
bump
B
into
is
C.
Chris Webber type of thing. Yeah.
So I would say that this is an S tier, but off of what Louis
So
has
would
been
I.
saying, he doesn't
Yeah,
rate
so
it.
Really?
would I.
That is actually
Yeah.
so surprising. Okay, fair.
We're-
I mean, if you think it's S tier, this is collective. Like, I'm
Well,
not.
if you
going
put it
against
in,
S.
if you would have put it in like C, then we can move
Yeah.
it down
But-
to A.
No, but it's better than the Phoenix one. It's like
It is.
I
It's better than the
Alright.
Phoenix.
Then it's
This
staying
one,
in this.
this is
I
the
like
true Geordie jersey because I can only ever see True Geordie playing with the F2. You know that clip where he's like heading the ball
Yeah,
every
yeah,
time?
yeah,
All I
yeah,
ever see
yeah.
when I think of this
Well,
jersey.
I'll tell you what.
With that said,
it-
I still think it's an S tier.
I like it.
I think it's A. I think it's A. But he picked
I
it
think
up.
it's A as
Louis?
well. I think it's A.
Ah.
I think so.
How
We've had
is
better
that
ones.
there?
We've had better
How
ones.
is
than
that
we've
there?
had ones.
And then
That's
the
bad.
Wizards. That's bad. Is it D though?
I
It's
wouldn't
not
put
D.
that in
It's
D. I
It's
wouldn't
not
put it in
D,
D.
it's
I
C.
don't mind that actually.
Right. Okay.
I
Well,
actually don't
with
mind the Nola one a bit. I'm just after I said about the gumbo, I don't mind it.
I would
whack
put it
it
in C.
there.
I can't lie.
I don't mind it.
I prefer.
I
put it this way.
prefer it to
I
pretty
would
much all of
rather
them.
have. I would rather have the Clippers and the Wizards jersey over that Pelicans jersey.
No, I'd rather have the
That-
Pelicans one because you don't see that
Alright,
many purple. You don't see that many purple ones. But that is our NBA City Tier Edition jersey tier list. So enjoy that. And on that note, before my camera absolutely dies and this podcast randomly gets called off, we're going to round that one there. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy and you did enjoy all of the trades that we did for the Chicago Bulls, please hit the subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and comment down below and other teams and stuff that maybe you'd want us to talk about before we get into the real ramp up of the regular season. If you're listening to this on audio, if you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from, please leave us a review and make sure you're following us on there. And with that all said, we're going to end there. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.